A lot of people in the paranormal community thought that Ed and Lorraine were fakes, frauds, phonies. And in my opinion, this was the beginning of the downfall of the reputation of the Warrens. Before, they seemed like legit demonologists, but to others, they were kind of appearing to be just media whores, you know what I'm saying? For years, the Warrens made money off their most famous case, the Amityville horror. Within the paranormal community, there were whispers that something was off with that case. But again, there was lots of evidence, so no one really questioned anything publicly. But then in 1988, those rumors were confirmed to be true. So the DeFeo murders were real. An entire family was murdered by Ronald DeFeo Jr., but Ronald's attorney, his name was William Weber, he fessed up to something shocking. William, the attorney, met with the Lutz family after they already lived in the Amityville home. The Lutz family told William that they wanted to create this big elaborate story about their home being haunted to make money. So they invited Jay Anson, the man who would eventually write the famous Amityville horror novel. They called him up. They had dinner together. I guess they got, they had some wine, they're drinking, and they started to take random things that happened in the house and turn them into terrifying ghost stories. For example, someone spilled a plate of spaghetti. So the writer was oh my God, let's make that evil green slime oozing from the walls. And they're hell yeah, write it down. That makes a lot of sense. Spaghetti, slime, same thing. So, you get it. So William knew that the story wouldn't sell without Ronald's help. So he pretty much used his power as a lawyer to convince Ronald to go for the insanity plea at trial and say that voices were telling him to kill his family. Ronald said William wanted to, quote, make the story more attractive for possible book and movie contracts, end quote. And, quote, he told me I had to do this. He told me there would be a lot of money from book rights and a movie. The whole thing was a con, end quote. So where did the Warrens come in on all of this? Well, I guess they were supporting everything the Lutz family said and even kind of making stuff up to make it more believable. Remember how Ed said that the Shinnecock Indian spirits were haunting the property? Well, no one could back up that claim. The Montucket tribe of Long Island even reached out to ABC News to confirm that there was absolutely no record of burials at that house, the location. It was completely made up. And remember the famous photo of the little boy on the stairs inside the Amityville house? Well, many believe it's actually a grown man in glasses kneeling down behind a staircase. Christopher, one of the Lutz kids, said his dad was, quote, a professional showman, in my opinion. And, quote, I just feel as though we're being exploited, end quote. So this all kind of made Ed and Lorraine look not very credible, like a joke. So Ed Warren, he ended up passing away in 2006, and Lorraine went on to do many interviews with the media in order to protect their legacy. But as the years go on, even more stuff had came out about them. In 2017, a woman named Judith Penney spoke to the media. So Judith talked about how she was around for almost every single investigation that the Warrens did. She was the woman in the background that no one really acknowledged. Yeah, you get it. Most people knew her as the girl who ran the Warrens Occult Museum. According to Judith, the truth was she was more than that. Ed had groomed Judith from the time she was 15 years old. I guess at one point, Ed was a driver who would make deliveries to the high school she was attending, and that's how they met. One thing led to another, and Judith moved in with the Warrens in 1963. She lived in an apartment they built for her above their house. Ed and Lorraine's daughter even confirmed this, saying they took her in because she had nowhere to go. The truth was, this wasn't charity. Judith was Ed's girlfriend. Yeah, Ed would alternate between spending nights with Lorraine and then with Judith. She was 15 and he was 37. Disgusting. In 1963, Judith was arrested after the local police got a tip about her relationship with Ed. I know, I was like, why was she arrested? Connecticut's laws at the time prohibited an unmarried minor from cohabiting with a married adult. In other words, yeah, that's kind of, it's backwards. So she gets arrested. She spent one night in prison in Bridgeport. The police wanted her to admit to the affair and sign legal documents. And I guess when she didn't cooperate, she was court ordered to report to a delinquent youth office for a month. Ed would pick her up from school and drive her to these meetings. This is something allegedly Lorraine knew about and didn't seem to care about. The only time Lorraine cared about anything was in 1978 when Judith found out that she was pregnant with Ed's child. Now, this was like at the height of the Warrens' Amityville horror fame. According to Judith, Lorraine forced her to get an abortion. She said, quote, "They wanted me to tell everyone that someone had come into my apartment and raped me, and I wouldn't do that. I was so scared. I didn't know what to do, but I had an abortion," end quote. Like I said, Ed died in 2006, so he never publicly addressed these claims. But Lorraine was extremely protective over her husband's image. I mean, Lorraine was a consultant on the Conjuring movies. And she had to protect the family business. And she made sure to add that the filmmakers were prohibited from, quote, "showing her or her husband engaging in crimes, including sex with minors, child pornography, prostitution, or sexual assault, and that neither the husband nor wife could be depicted as participating in an extramarital sexual relationship," end quote. I just feel like she just aired all their dirty laundry. Talent attorney Jill Smith told a Hollywood Reporter that this is not common in contracts. Oopsie. Lorraine, she passed away. She died in 2019, but Judith did get the last word in the whole situation. Lorraine prided herself on being a devout Catholic her whole life. Judith's response was, quote, "Her real God is money," end quote. What a ride, huh? Spirits, ghosts, sexual predators. Ain't that something, huh? Movies. They're never true, right? Yeah. I don't know. I think at the end of the day, Ed and Lorraine were really good salespeople. Is that mean to say? I don't think so. I think they were good business people, maybe? I don't know. They're obviously hiding something. They had some skeletons in their closet. I don't know. And look, just because Ed and Lorraine Warren were full of it does not mean I don't believe in ghosts. I swear there's a ghost in my... Okay, I have this hallway, and there is something... There's something going on in this hallway. Okay, it's dark, it's spooky, and I don't know what it is. So this is what I do. This is how I handle ghosts. This is what I do. So when I feel like when I'm walking down this hallway and I feel it, I just start screaming. Not bloody murder, but wah, wah! I just start kind of just yelling and screaming, because I feel like the ghost can't scare me if I'm scaring the ghost. Because the ghost is going to be like, what is this chick doing? Because I'm just like, wah! And it works every time. If you release it and you get rid of the scare and you pass it on to the ghost instead, you just feel better. As I say it out loud, it sounds stupid. And yeah, if you're watching me through a window, I look like a lunatic. But it works, okay? Instead of waiting for the ghost to scare you, you scare the ghost first. And I'm like, you can stay here, ghost. But you gotta put up with me. So that's what I do. I believe it works. Just a little tip from me to you.